Good evening to everybody. Happy to be back here for our Bridges of Light International section. I'll be waiting for a few connections, and then today, as you can see from the banner that is scrolling at the bottom of the window, we'll be going through a psychic meditation on forgiveness. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the first people that are connecting. Thanks for being here for this meditation. Before getting there, hi, good evening. Happy to see you too. And we were talking before about the meaning of forgiveness, what it happens to us, to our energy, and to our life when we do not forgive. So about the importance of forgiveness as well. Hi, everybody. Hope you're fine. Hope you're having a wonderful time. And hope you will be happy to work on this subject with me. It's quite a topic. It's quite an issue. I see that now people are starting to connect. So when we have a few connections, we can start speaking about the importance of forgiveness. Forgiveness. This is already something. This is quite something. The word itself, forgiving, forgiveness, it does say something very important. What is forgiveness? Forgive. To give something to whom? From the word itself, we can understand a very important meaning. We give something to ourselves. And what do we give to us? What do we give to us? We give to us freedom. We give us the release from a pain. So, to forgive is really an important subject in our life. Because not to forgive means to hold on, to grab and keep being attached to a pain, to a sufferance, to a grief that we have in our soul. And that is also strictly connected to anger. We do not forgive when we are angry for something, and usually we are mad at someone. Okay, so I already introduced the subject, and as you can see, we're going to go deeply into our soul to connect with this subject and to connect with the meditation. I'll be introducing to you also scientifically what happens to us when we do not forgive. And then we will be going through this meditation, and then I don't want to use all the time for the meditation because I need to have some feedbacks from you. Because I explain in this meditation, psychic meditation, how do they work, okay? Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. A psychic meditation is a part of what my main job is, my core business is in the holistic field. I work with, I introduce a little bit myself for those that see me for the first time, okay? So I'm a numerologist. I deal with quantum physics and quantum physics healing techniques. And I am a teacher of soul dance of the soul. It's not soul dance, it's the dance of the soul. It's quite different. It derives from the vibrational therapies from Baba Bedi. Baba Bedi was an Indian master who lived his last 20 years of life in Milan, in Italy. And he died at the beginning of the 90s. And he generated and he gave birth to all his philosophy just from one question. And this question is, what have you done for your happiness today? So, while you think to the answer of this question, I welcome all of you. Mariella, Andrea, Nadia, Samra, welcome back. Thanks for being here to go through this journey with me. So, what have you done for your happiness? This is the question that gave birth to the vibrational therapist from Baba Bedi. Then he applied his therapies mostly to the arts, because arts are already considered a means between the different dimensions, a means through which we can collect informations from the other dimensions. We can bring them here in our dimension on the earth to make so that the earth can raise up, can grow into its spiritual level, can develop to become closer to the other dimensions, can elevate towards what masters and gods from the other dimension want us to reach in order to be happy, in order to be in a well-being situation. So he applied that to the arts, and since I was a ballerina, of course, I embraced the soul of the dance, because that's what I'm keen of. That's what really moves me from the inside. And this is a part, the psychic meditation is a part of what we do in the job. That part of the job involves, of course, the movement, dancing, free dancing. And dancing is just an excuse to distract the mind and let the subconscious raise up and come up with symbols that actually are just messages, personal messages for us. So during this meditation, you will be receiving maybe symbols, or you will see some things that actually do have a proper and precise meaning for you, a customized meaning for you. So at the end of the meditation, I'll be waiting for you in the commentaries to write them down so that I can tell you what message you received. Okay? Marielle is writing something. Today I help my mother, who is 88 years old, and then I prepare lunch for my parents, and I listen to some music. Oh, great. That's what you did for your happiness. That's great. To take care of ourselves, to really think of ourselves is absolutely very important. We have to have that in our priorities. If we don't think of our happiness, if we don't take care of our happiness, nobody will ever do that. We cannot expect the others to take care of our happiness. We are responsible for that. Okay? So let's get into the subject from a scientific point of view. When we don't forgive, as I said a few minutes ago, we are probably mad at somebody, and we are really unhappy for a certain situation, and we don't let it go. So we're living in the past. We're holding on to the past. So to forgive means to give us freedom from that pain, freedom from that anger. At the same time, when we decide to forgive, we have to respect ourselves. I mean, we are spiritual essences, spiritual souls that came here onto the earth to live a human life. And so we're going to experiment emotions, bad or good emotions, disequalities, differences, separation, problems, conflicts. That is what we came here for, okay? To experiment all this. Why? Because we have to go back to learning and acknowledging the importance of being all related to each other, so to make one. So anything that happens to me, of course, influences all the others. We have to get back to that principle, to that rule, in order to connect to the others and having the will to elevate ourselves, free ourselves to all the heavy blocks and burdens in order to be one, to recognize the importance of the wholeness. We are one, and we are one individual in the wholeness. Okay? So we are still human, though. This means that if we are not ready to forgive, we can't cheat. We all have been told, maybe when we were a child, that to forgive means, okay, maybe, do you remember when we were in kindergarten and we had conflicts with the other kids? And then the teacher would come and say, come on, forgive each other. And we would say, I forgive you, but we were very mad at the other kid, and we would have almost killed the other kid instead of forgiving him. But we would have said, I forgive you, just because we didn't want the teacher to say that again. Okay? We keep doing that, even if we are grown-up people. We keep doing that anytime that we forgive, and then we're not ready to do that in our soul. We have to be honest with ourselves. If we are not ready, then we need more time. We have to need indulgence towards ourselves. We can't force a process that is a soul process, and it has to take its time. It needs its course. At the same time, anytime we forgive, we do something magical, because we release ourselves from the burden of a pain. When we are mad, we don't want to forgive. We want that person we are focused toward, because we think she is responsible of something unpleasant that made us unhappy, that made us mad at her or him. We would like that person to realize how obnoxious, how awful she or he is. This is what we wish when we're mad. And we would like to hit her or him. We can't deny that. So we're not in the right mood to forgive. Not at all. Not at all. Now, I want to show you scientifically what happens to us when we do not forgive. Maybe some of you know about Rupert Sheldrake's morphogenetics field. If you have never heard of it, I'll explain you. Rupert Sheldrake demonstrated that anytime we have certain feelings, we sort of create something wherever we are. So we create actually a new morphogenetic quantum physics field. There is trace in that field of our energy that will be staying there until another energy comes and transforms the first one. Okay? Okay, Mariella says, I think first of all, we have to love ourselves so we can be happy, positive, and helpful. Of course, you are perfectly right. I perfectly agree with that. First of all, we have to learn to love ourselves. Absolutely. So, what happens in that morphogenetic field? Even here, even now, we are creating a new morphogenetic field, because what sort of emotions are we releasing now in our environment? Maybe curiosity, maybe we are sort of refrain from what is being told by the speaker, maybe touching emotions because we're talking about something very personal. All these emotions actually are going to generate vibrations that stay in this morphogenetic field until something comes and transforms them. Of course, in our case, this morphogenetic field is not going to be influencing all the others until something absolutely important or an astonishing situation occurs during our life. So it's not going to be very influencing. But when an important action occurs in our life, like a murder, an abortion, or a traumatic situation, very traumatic, an incident, an accident, a slaughter, all those things do leave trace, energetic trace. And this energetic trace is going to stay there. It's live. And so it generates radiations that we can feel. It's like, let me give you an example. Has it ever happened to you to go, for example, to a couple of friends that invited you over for dinner, and then when you get there, they are really nice to you as always, but you feel that there is something strange in the air. It's not actually as it should be. And then maybe you find out that just before you came, they had a fight and they argued very lively. What happens? That you feel the energy that spread out from them. Okay? So, anytime we don't forgive, we create a sort of energy. And that energy stays in that field until I change it. Because not to forgive, it depends, of course, on how mad you are, okay? But those do leave trace, because anger is quite an important, strong, harsh feeling and emotion. So we perceive it. We perceive it immediately. When we do, for example, family constellations, I think you know them. Why do they work? Maybe you have done them, so you know what I'm talking about. During the family constellation, we go back into our past and we connect to our family. You know how they work. I pretend to be myself and I call all the others to play the roles of the different persons that belong to my family. And all those people know very little about my family. Maybe it's the first time they see me, but they get invested, they get filled by an energy, so they actually act like that person. They are overwhelmed by a particular energy. And then what happens? That I find out things I didn't even know about. Only seeing those things, I can understand why relationships in my family are maybe so difficult or sometimes not understandable. And then what can I do? I can forgive what happened. And I say once more, to forgive means not to give to what happened in the past of my life, but not just my life, also my relative's life, okay? That's why my relative morphogenetic field influences mine, because we are connected, we're related, okay? I do not give it the permission to influence my life again. I let it go. That's why they work. You see, in 1990, two Russian scientists, Ponti and Garayev, experimented in what is called the phantom DNA. What is the phantom DNA? Well, they took a tube test and they wanted to see how photons, the smallest part of light, behaves when there's nothing in the tube test. And they just move around as they wish. Then they put some DNA inside and they settled around the DNA. Then they took the DNA off and they noticed that the photons continued to move as the DNA was still present. That is why it's called the ghost DNA experiment. Why did they still move as if the DNA was there? They could still perceive the trace, the information, the trace that DNA left there. Isn't this amazing? So anything we do leave trace of it. That is going to be there for a long time. That is why to forgive is absolutely very important to us. We change our life. We don't grab onto a situation and hold on to it because we want those people to pay for what they have done. We just release ourselves from that attitude. We do a quantum leap when we do that, when we forgive. Okay. So I do hope that this little explanation was clear enough. Okay. Let me know if it's not, or if I have to make something clear before we start our meditation. Of course, we will be having some music with us because, as I told you, this technique comes from the dance of the soul. Of course, this involves music, and all the musics have been studied according to their frequencies in order to move ourselves, to move inside ourselves, to erase certain emotions we need to deal in that particular moment. I see I have another comment here. Mariella says, everyone is energy, is vibration. I can feel my karma. My soul tells me I'm not with right people for me in right situation. I called it my sixth sense. It's something I feel into my stomach and have also panic attack. You're very sensitive and very sensible, both things at the same time. Okay. Mariella, thanks for this comment. It's very good that you have this perception. Of course, you have also to learn maybe how to deal with this perception in order not to feel all the emotions, mostly the negative emotions around you, because you have the right to protect yourself. There are many techniques you can use. There are courses about how to feel the energies, how to protect yourself. Okay, that's very important. But at least you know they have a very good perceptive sense. Okay, it's very clear. Thanks, Monica. So, if you are ready, I hope you can think of someone that you want to deal with for this forgiving meditation. If you have somebody to forgive, okay. Otherwise, we will see how or what sort of forgiveness we have to give or we haven't given yet. I am sensitive. Yes, you are. And somebody told me in this group. Okay, great. So somebody acknowledged that, recognized that in that group. Okay. I have one more thing to say, and that is that when we focus on forgiving, we focus on opening our heart. When we are mad, our heart is closed. When we feel anger, grief, we have harsh feelings, our heart is closed. And when our heart is closed, the universe can bring us what it has for us, because the door it knocks onto is closed. Also, not to forgive means to have energetic blocks onto our body. So maybe when we think of someone we're mad at, we can feel a part of our body aching in that right moment. Anyway, have you thought of someone to forgive? If you haven't anybody to forgive, this meditation will make it clear to you if you have something to forgive from your past or in your past, or we actually do not have anyone to forgive, or what your forgiving situation is actually. Okay? Is that clear? Okay. Very good. So let's start. Of course, I'll be using music. And I first ask you to let me know if this music is listening, is if the volume of the music is all right. Please let me know if you can hear the music. If it's too high, Laura, do you like these words? I am pure love, I love. Of course you do. The most beautiful words of the world. Okay, as soon as I have a comment about the volume of the music, we will start our meditation. Thank you. Then I kindly ask you to relax, to find a comfortable position, not to cross hands or feet, please, unless if you are sitting on a chair or on an armchair, unless you are sitting on the ground or if you're sitting on the couch. Please, if you want to cross your legs, then don't touch the ground. Okay. And then breathe. Listen to this music and breathe. Yes, just on time. And then feel how light, this sensation of lightness within yourself. Feel you have wings on your backs that are making you fly high in the sky. And you feel the wind on your skin. The air is almost sparkling. And you can see everything from above. There is this fantastic view of the world. And while you're flying, you perceive the presence of hundreds of angels all around you. And now you're flying among the angels. You're an angel among the angels. And little by little, you see a house right in front of you, a beautiful house. And you feel compelled to land into the main room of that house. And when you do that, you realize you ended up in a room that is completely covered by mirrors. The mirror room. At the same time, in the middle of the room, there are 3 mirrors as big as you are. One mirror is right in front of you. Then you have a mirror on your right and another mirror on your left. And you look at those 3 mirrors. And when you're thinking of why am I here? What do these mirrors stand for? While you do that, something very magic happens from the mirror at your left. A hand comes out of the mirror, grabs you, and makes you rush into the mirror. And then you feel like if you are running backward towards the end of the tunnel that there is behind the left mirror. Something compels you, pushes you to run very fast backwards toward the end of that mirror. But while you're doing it, you feel it gets harder and harder to run and move. And you realize suddenly that you are carrying a backpack filled by big stones, big heavy stones. And any step you take, it gets heavier. And then the tunnel gets worse and worse. It gets darker. The air smells of humidity, of mist, and there is wet. The sensation of wet all around you. You feel in a cave, no more in a tunnel. And then you arrive at the end of the tunnel, you're very tired, and you look for something that sticks out of the mud to sit onto. You remove the backpack from your back, and you know that in order to get rid of it, you have to look at what it's inside of it. So you put the backpack right in front of you, and with respect, in a ritual way, you start opening the backpack and you take any stone one by one out of the backpack. You take the first stone out of the backpack and you look at it. And the stone will tell you what it stands for, what burden, what not forgiving action, situation you're still carrying on your back. If it is not clear to you at the first time, ask that stone what it stands for and be open to the answer that might come to you. You perceive it, you let it go through your body and through your soul. And only when you have it, only when you have the answer, you look at the stone and you say, I allow you to turn into a higher level of energy. Maybe that stone doesn't really tell you what it stands for. Maybe it transforms into a symbol. In that case, remember the symbol. And then, after the sentence, I allow you to transform in a higher form of elevated energy. You let it go. And it transforms in a balloon, in a blue balloon, and I hold the thread of that balloon, and it keeps going higher, 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 so high I cannot hold it anymore, and I just let it go. And I do the same thing for any stone there is in my backpack. Remove it from your backpack, look at the stone, feel what it stands for. What haven't I forgiven? Then ask the stone, if you don't realize what it stands for, why is it there? What do you represent to me? Maybe it turns into a symbol, then memorize the symbol. And then say, I allow you to transform in a higher form of elevated energy. And it turns into a balloon, a blue balloon. I hold the thread of that balloon. It keeps going higher, higher, higher. I can't hold it anymore and I let it go. And you do that by yourself with all the time you need until your backpack is empty. Take your time. Okay, then one stone after the other. The backpack gets lighter and lighter. And when I'm finished, I pick up the backpack. I put it upside down and I scroll it to make sure there's nothing left inside. Then I notice that something starts to change. In fact, I see that there is no mud anymore around my feet. It's like if the place is drying up from the mist, from the mud, from humidity. And I realize that I start breathing fresh air. And I feel like I have to stand up and go back to the entrance of this place. One step after the other, I work my way out of here. But I notice that there are flowers on the earth. Light is coming in. I breathe better. All my lungs can breathe deeply this fresh, sparkling air. Light is coming through. The whole environment changes. Flowers, butterflies, animals. This place has completely changed. I'm so happy to see all this that I almost don't want to leave from here. I look for a last glance. I take a last glance to this place, and then I step out of the mirror and I find myself in front of another mirror. At my left there is a mirror, at my right there is another mirror. And I look at myself in the middle mirror, the one in front of me. What do I look like? What feeling do I have? Now that I got rid of my backpack, I can move into my right mirror. It is calling me. So I look at my right and I bravely step into the right mirror. And there I see my future, rid of any connection with my past, free from any energy that can take me backwards. And I see something absolutely beautiful. Please remember the first thing that you see here. Anything it might be. And then keep going in this new place. Discover it. Have fun discovering it. You are creating your future, free from anything, so you can make it as you wish. Take some time into this place to make it the best of the universe. Then we start working our way back towards the entrance of the right mirror. Connect with your emotions in this place. Connect with how happy you are there. Peace in your soul. You have no burdens on your shoulders anymore. And then step out of the right mirror. And you find yourself back into the mirror room in front of the center mirror, the one between the left and right one. Now look at yourself in that mirror. How do you feel? Are you different from how you reflected in the mirror before? What has changed? Now, you look at the left mirror, your past. Your past is your experience. Then you look at the right mirror, your future. Thanks to the past, you can make your future as you wish. And hold your hand together, right and left hands. Hold them together. Because you are the sum of your past and the future you want in the present time, right here now. Look at yourself and be grateful for what you are, for the way you are, for the possibility to forgive, so nothing will influence your future from being the best future possible. So, thanks to our future, thanks to our past, thanks to us nowadays, as we are. And then, we thank the mirrors, we thank our life, we thank all the people we had to forgive that made us mad at them. It's because they gave us the possibility to forgive, to go over it, to make a little quantum leap. And then we start breathing because we have to come back here into our reality, into our real life. We let all the visualization go from our mind. We dissolve all the visualizations. And slowly, respecting our soul and the way we feel, we come back here, present time, with a very big, nice smile on our face. And only when we're ready, we open our eyes to have contact connections back. Thank you. Very well. How are you, my friends? How did it go? Did it work all right? Now, if there are any symbols that you received from your past, please let me know. Write them down so I can give you some explanation, or anything particular you want to let me know that you have seen in that visualization. Please write it down so I can translate the message you have been receiving from the other dimension. Thanks for your thanks. I'm grateful for your thanks. But anything I can know, I'll be very happy to realize it with you, to share it with you, so I can give you some explanations about it. How do you feel? Are you happy? Do you feel alright? You don't need any explanations. Everything was clear. What you have been forgiven, what you hadn't forgiven yet. Could you let it go easily? Feeling lighter? It felt so light early on through the meditation. Very good. Great. So you started to let go very early. That's great. Samra, good for you. Sonia, feeling lighter. Great. At the beginning of meditation, saw myself in the mirror. I felt too heavy. Okay, so there was quite a backpack on your shoulders. Letting go of the stones wasn't hard. Very good. I'm very happy, Summer. Then you had very little to forgive. Okay. Maybe it was more a clearance from the past than a forgiveness. Okay. Good. I'm very happy that you had this positive result. So, any symbol, any particular symbol to communicate, to translate? How did you see yourself in the mirrors? 3 times. It seems I had already forgiven. Yeah, I do think so, Samra. I do think so. This was just a proof of what you said. I feel great. That's very good. Very happy about it. Very happy. Okay, my dear friends, if there's nothing to add, if you actually had these great results, if you don't need any explanations, you know that this is going to be recorded. So this is being recorded, so you can go back to this meditation anytime you want to do it again, if you need. If you don't, better for you. I see stars or pentacles of the so stars of pentacles. But pentacles, you know, the pentacles is a magic symbol. It depends on where it points, because it can be a black, unfortunately, or white symbol, magic symbol. Okay, in your case, of course, it was white because you were forgiving, so it was surely pointing toward the north. It has to point towards the north to be a magic symbol. So it tells you that you were really in contact with the energy of forgiveness. And even today I saw stars. Okay, stars are lights, of course. Lights. You know that once at the Roman times, even previous to that, people could still look at the stars, looking at the sky. So actually, the sky was leading us, leading them. So when you see stars, it always mean light. Pointing north, of course, great. Your pentacle was pointing north. Of course, it was a positive signal. After meditation, I feel much more relaxed, positive. I can see a starway to heaven made not of heavy stones, but of beautiful and colorful flowers, beautiful sunflower. The flower of wow, this is amazing, Mariella. This is a great result. Flowers means beauty, beauty in our life. Okay, and you see the beauty of your soul as well. This is great. And when we forgive, we do get closer to heaven in a general, very wide meaning. Great. This was a great result. I'm very happy that you managed so well with this meditation. Okay. So, it seems like you don't need any other explanations. Flowers, yes. Beautiful flowers. I'm very happy that you could manage easily with your forgiving sources. And I hope you won't need them anymore. But in case you do, this meditation maybe can be helpful. Okay? Hope that the stones made it clear to you what they stand for, so you know now what you let go and what you hadn't let go previously. Okay? Thanks to you. Thanks to you. Thanks for being here with me. And I'll be back next Tuesday at 6 o'clock as usual with another psychic meditation about relationships, about hard relationships, how we can get in touch with the heart of the person we have a hard relationship with. And so what we can do about it. Okay, so thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here with you, and maybe see you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock Rome time. Good forgiveness to everyone. It's a breath for our soul. It's an open hearting of our soul. Goodbye, good evening. Have a very beautiful night.